Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Dan. And today I'm continuing my Disney movie marathon, and I will have this Cuban scar with me, folks, because I need to be smoking a little something I guess for this particular video. So yeah, this is not gonna be a rant video or anything, I'm just saying. And this is a long list of movies I have to review anyway, so there's that. So, the film I'm going to be reviewing is a live-action film titled BFG, or just Big Friendly Giant, in other names, I guess. So anyway, as always, let's get into the plot of this particular feature. So let's just get things started, shall we? Oh yeah. We get to see that there's this 10-year-old girl, Sophie, whom is this orphan little girl, and she lives in London at this particular orphanage. She stays awake, reading through the nights due to her insomnia, and at 3 a.m., or what she calls the witching hour, she sees an elderly giant outside her window. So this particular giant catches her and takes her into this particular place called Giant Country. Yeah, it's kind of a weird name, I guess, but whatever, I suppose. But anyway, he turns out to be a nice guy after all. And I guess don't judge a book by its cover, so to speak, no pun intended. So anyway, there he explains that Sophie must stay with him for the rest of her life because she saw him and must not be allowed to reveal the existence of these particular giants. Then, however, after learning that she has insomnia and that she doesn't believe that she can control her dreams, he managed to read her to sleep and gives her a nightmare about failing to escape and being eaten by another giant. Yeah, that seems a little dark for a Disney movie when you think about it. But anyway, that's pretty much the justification of the film, I guess you can say, the film in a nutshell. Of course, there are other giants who are bigger than he is, and he gets picked on. And of course, there's a particular journey in which he must go through along with the little girl. Well, it's a Disney film, so of course they have to go through a particular journey. So, folks, I did not watch this film right away, but it took me some time, so I finally got my hands on it. So after I watched the film, I wanted to review it, and I'm finally gonna review a Disney film for my Disney-a-thon. So I felt in some ways I had to do it because I have to get to a Disney film eventually. I mean, yeah, this is one of the more recent Disney films. This came out in 2016. And yeah, and that's the thing, folks. The budget for this film was roughly $140 million. But the box office success was a little bit bigger than that. So it made its budget back with barely any profit, I guess you can say. So yeah, I guess that's better than nothing, I suppose. And this film is based upon a book that was made back in the 1990s or something. But well, I'll just say this. A slight correction on that. This film has been in development limbo since the 1990s, so to speak. And yes, there is a book that's out there which I have not read, but this film is based upon a book that was actually made some time ago. So Disney had wanted to make a live-action version based on the book a while back. And yes, there is an animated version based on the same story, but it's not made by the same company. But overall, folks, this film is pretty harmless in a lot of ways. There's nothing too graphic, there's nothing too violent. I mean, yeah, it's very adventurous, but that's of course very typical of Disney, as we all know. Yeah, it's still a magical feel, obviously, and again, that's pretty typical of Disney. So this film took quite a while for it to be made, folks. It took quite a while. And that's the thing, various screenwriters were actually hired to work on the script itself for several years. So this film was stuck in limbo for almost 30 years, folks. And then the company DreamWorks had acquired the screen rights to the book that this is based upon in September 2011. And then there were other producers and screenwriters joined for this particular project as executive co-producers. So Spielberg, you heard me right, was actually announced as director in April 2014, and along with his film production company as co-producer. So this film finally began to be made in March 2015. So this will be, I guess you can say, this particular movie made Steven Spielberg's first film for Walt Disney Pictures, which had actually co-funded the film for its financial release, folks. So the film BFG finally premiered in the Cannes Festival on May 14, 2016, and held its Northern American debut in some other theaters in June 21st, 2016. Then the film had actually been released in the United States in Disney Digital 3D, IMAX, and so on and so forth, and then the traditional theater release formats in January 1st of 2016. So the film itself did receive mostly positive reviews. So it made its budget back with barely any profit, but like I said before, something's better than nothing, I suppose. The music for this film wasn't too bad, I suppose, folks. I guess definitely to say that music for this film was actually really good, quite honestly. The music did set the mood for this particular film, and the editing wasn't too bad. It had a pretty solid story overall. As I said multiple times before, folks, watching a kid in any film, yes, I know, this is a Disney movie, I know. However, regardless of what the company is, watching kids as the main characters in any movie is often rather annoying. Thankfully, the little kid actor, it does not play an annoying character in this case, so that's good thing there. So, anyway, she's pretty likable, I suppose. So, overall, this was a pretty solid movie, I suppose, folks. And, yeah, I don't understand as to why this film had received lots of hatred upon its release. I didn't think it was nowhere near that bad, really, folks. I mean, I think one of the reasons as to why people seem to hate this movie is because they will compare it to the Steven Spielberg's better films. I mean, yes, Steven Spielberg himself had made better films, sure, but I can't say that this was far from terrible. But I can give credit when credit's due, because honestly, I can say that Steven Spielberg was actually attempting to do something a bit different this time around for kids. Well, which is fine, I suppose, folks. This is a family movie. Yes, it's one of those feel-good type family movies which Disney's known for. And while this is far from my favorite Disney movie, and trust me on that, folks, it's not my favorite Disney movie at all. But at the end of the day, it's not terrible. I didn't hate it. It was a pretty solid film. So yeah, this one does compare. Yeah, this film does come off rather lighthearted in some ways, folks. Especially considering the fact that it's the same company that made Rogue One. This came off a lot more darker than this. So yeah, they're capable of telling really, really dark stories, folks. So in comparison, this one is actually much lighter in tone. So yeah, overall, folks, this film is pretty decent, I suppose. I'll say it's worth checking out. I know this film did receive some positive and negative reviews, but most of it was positive, I suppose. It wasn't that bad of a movie. I mean, don't get me wrong, folks. That's the thing. So I'm not going to go around and claim that this is such a big masterpiece, which it isn't. So overall, I can say this was definitely something I guess you can say the entire family can watch. The acting was pretty solid, I suppose. The special effects, the CGI was actually quite good. And so yeah, folks, there was nothing I can say I can't really complain too much, really, because this was something I can watch from time to time, I suppose. So if you want to get this movie just for your DVD collection for your Disney stuff, I'll say check it out, I guess. So yeah, folks, The Big Friendly Giant, this particular movie, it gets an overall rating of a 3.2 out of 10. It gets a 3.2 out of 10 for me, of course. And yes, as always, thanks for watching, and take care. See ya. Oh yeah.